Good morning. Today's a pretty exciting day. I'm getting some new additions for the workshop, those being machines. So yeah, let's get to the shop. As you can see, delivery just arrived and I'm super excited. Let's show you what I got. One bandsaw, one thickness planer, or planer thicknesser. In this box is the dust extractor. This is all the ducting for hooking it up, and then that's my filter cartridge. So now that they're in, I'm in the middle of finishing my video that would have been out before this one's uploaded. So if you haven't seen that, it's the lumber cart. Go check it out. I'll put a link in the description. But as for this video, we'll pick this up in the next couple of days. I'll be hooking all these machines up and setting them out. I'm not sure if I want to do everything on this side of the wall or if I want to do it on this side. So the plan today is just to unbox everything. I'm going to start with a dust extractor because I've got to build that up. I was lucky enough that I didn't have to build up the bandsaw, so we'll unbox that, get that built and see where we are. Everything is out of the box. We've got the motor, the casing, other bits of casing, and the bag, which I'm not going to use because I've got this here, which is my cartridge filter, the wheels and bits and bobs. So I need to make all this look like that. So it didn't have any instructions in the box, which is interesting, but I think they do all this online, which is cool. So I just went on my phone to see if I could find the user manual, to see if it'll have any information in there. Just went on to Axminster's website, and it was pretty easy. I just went on to the product online and then I just scrolled down to the information, and then there's a user manual, clicked on that, and then it downloaded everything that I need to know. The main body of the extractor is now assembled. All that's left is to get the cartridge filter out of that box and then attach it to the top here. Yeah, it was relatively simple actually with the online instructions, so that's basically it. So yesterday I built the extractor, or assembled the extractor. I didn't build it. I'm not really sure on my layout just yet. I'm struggling a little bit on where I want all the machines to be because I've never had these machines, so I'm not really sure which way is going to suit me best. However, this is where I've positioned them. I've put the extractor there, my bandsaw is here, and then my thickness planer is there. I'm not sure why my camera's not focusing. I think it's because my battery's about to die. However, the next steps is to assemble the bandsaw or change the blade on there and just make sure everything's set up properly. Then we'll do the thickness and then we can get all the ducted. So we've got a lot to get through today. So I'll just quickly change my battery in the camera and we'll get going. That's the blade off. We now need to put the new one on. I'm gonna put this one back on the same way as the other one come off. Okay, I just finished putting the new blade on the bandsaw. I've given the top a bit of a wipe down. It does need a bit of a clean, but I haven't got anything in the shop to do that right now. Once I've done that, I'll just put some machine wax on the top to protect it. Now that I've got this box open with all my blast gates and adapters and all that, it's given me a bit of a headache because I'm not sure, I just don't really know where to start with it, to be honest with you. I've got to get these pipes up on the wall, but I've also got to connect that bandsaw, which is on the right hand side, my dust extractor, which is behind it on the right hand side. This then is on the left hand side, but I also want to connect my table saw. Ideally, it would be good to have them all down one length, so maybe like run them all down that wall. But the problem I have with that is I'm just not going to have enough room to do it, because I'm not going to have enough room to like feed in and out of the planer, and then I also need the room to feed into my table saw. But I also want to keep the piping to the minimum as possible, because I obviously need to keep the suction on my dust extractor. And the trouble is, I've seen some setups where like they put the dust extractor in the middle and then it hooks up to everything around it, but my workshop is definitely not wide enough for that. It's only, I think, I don't know, like 6 foot maybe. So I think what I'm gonna do is just start putting it up on the wall. I won't like glue it or anything, and I don't really mind if I've got a screw into the wall and then it doesn't work out and pull them out. I don't really care about that. That's the only way I'm gonna figure it out. So my plan is to maybe come off here, go up to the top above the electrical stuff because I can't go underneath. Ideally it would be good to just go from there and then across, but obviously it's going to be right in the way of everything and I won't be able to put like cabinets and that. So I'm just going to utilise the space, go up the top all the way along and then drop down for my bandsaw. But I'll use one of these pieces, so I'm not using a 90, which hopefully will help with the suction. And then from there I'll run further down just for like my sanders and stuff. I really don't care if like I lose suction down there a little bit because I'll have a blast gate anyway, so when that's shut it'll still be powerful enough for all the machines down this area of the shop. And then I'm thinking that'll be this side coming off this port, and then from here up to the ceiling, across, and then down to my thicknesser using another one of these pieces, so then I can come out the other side going along here down to my table saw, and that'll be it. Yeah, I'm having a bit of a headache. I think I'm just gonna start putting it up on the wall and cutting it, because the more I look at it, the more I think about it, the more it's stressing me out. It's like probably one of the hardest things to do is set up the dust extraction. I don't really know how else I can lay everything out. I've thought about maybe changing the layout, maybe pushing my table saw further up so I can have everything on one side, but I just don't think that's going to work for my workflow, so I'm going to stick with what I've got so far and fingers crossed it'll work. Okay, that's the first bit done. I was gonna go with solid pipe here, but because of the angle of the Y piece, it would have had to stick out, and I don't really want that, and I don't want to put like a 90 or anything in there, or 45. So we've gone straight up with the flexi. The next pieces will be, not sure if you're going to be able to see this. The next piece will be this one. Before I can connect that piece, the problem I have is my trunking. So when I go to mount this to the wall, the problem I'm going to have is the pipe's not going to clear that when it comes down to the machine. So when it's dropping down, I need it to clear that trunking. So I'm just going to make some blocks out of offcuts of timber, which then I'll screw into like so. Okay, so I've just realised I don't have long enough screws to go through both of these and then into the wall. And because I don't want to go back out and get some more screws, what I'm going to do is cut off the ends where I've pre-drilled these, and then when I cut this end off it will look like this with a little step, and I'll drive in through there, which I should have long enough screws then to go through once I countersink. bad screw in my eye. They're on my head, I might as well use them. What I'm going to do now is switch the extractor on and see how much suction I have. So I've opened this blast gate, and what we'll see is how much we get through there. When I was putting my hand on the end, there was so much suction that it was making the pipe job, so I know there's enough there. I've got some red rings for the earthing cable or copper wire, and some screws just to drive in through the pipes to reduce the static. I think this topic is a little bit controversial. I'm no expert, so I'm not gonna give advice on the static build-up for the dust extraction because, well, like I said, I'm no expert. I'm just doing what I think is best and what I've researched, and I believe this is the best way for me to do it in my shop. And if I get any problems, then it's my problem. So I always think, you know, safety in your shop is your priority, nobody else's, and that's that. Anyway, we'll, oh wait, I also got some more of this flexi hose because I need some for the drop down of the bandsaw, the thicknesser and the table saw, because I've used the others to go up to the roof. So that's the thicknesser now set up. I don't need to touch it. We'll move on to the bandsaw followed by table saw. So I just finished the bandsaw. I'm now attaching my table saw. It's like a rubber attachment. Just trying to squeeze this on. Okay, all the ducting, the blast gates, the flexi pipe is all hooked up apart from my table saw coming from this port here. The reason I haven't done that is because the flexi that I had left over, it just isn't long enough to clear. When I have my fence open all the way, it's just not enough to clear around that corner. I'll plumb that in at a later date, but I'm just going to ground all the machines that are connected now, which will be, I'll just give you a tour. And on here I've quickly added another blast gate, which means if I'm only using this side to use my thicknesser or my table saw, I can shut this and that'll keep my suction at the maximum possible, because obviously otherwise it'll be feeding up here and then down, and of course if it does go any further. So to keep this one shut, I thought that was quite handy. I will add another one here, so when I'm using this side it'll keep my suction at the maximum as well. But once I've saved up a little bit more money, I will do that. But yeah, this is what it looks like so far. I'll put a cap on the end there and then down into my bandsaw. Okay, so for the grounding system, I'm going to start at the furthest point of my extraction, which is by my table saw, and then work my way back. So we'll start there and I'll show you how I'm grounding it. Like I said, I'm no pro. I don't claim that this is the best way to do it. I know there's some people that don't even do it. They just use PVC pipe and the static doesn't bother them. The main reason I'm doing it is, one, obviously for safety. What I have noticed is that this pipe stuff does stick to it, and if I put my arms next to it after I've been turning the extractor on with the sawdust running through it, my hairs will stick up, and I don't really want to touch it and have one of those little electric shocks, just like you would get on a car, or you know, when you like touch someone and they're a bit static. I think that's basically all I'm going to have, but this will hopefully eliminate that. But yeah, if anyone knows more about it, just drop a comment down below and people can read. But for now, let's get the grounding done. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is drill through the blast gate into the pipe. But by drilling and screwing, obviously this will hold all the connections in place as well. The way the dust extraction is pulling at the moment, I'm not seeing any problems with like loss of suction, even though I haven't like glued or sealed any of these connections. If there is a problem, I can always go back and glue them, maybe put some silicone just to seal around the rims, but for now I'm just going to do this. Here's the tiny hole that I'm going to screw into. I'm going to grab one of my connectors. I'm not sure what the right term is for these, maybe like, I don't know, a ring terminal connector. Anyway, I'm just gonna pop the wire inside. I think you can get like proper crimpers for this, but well, I don't have any, so it's just gonna stay like that. So from here, I'm gonna take a screw. So this screw will go through the plastic and it will go inside, and then hopefully it'll reduce the static in there because the screw is on the inside but also touching the outside, because I'm going to be feeding the copper wire outside. Hopefully it'll stop a little bit of static. So I will show you how much, just going to show you how much the screw is sticking out in there. So as you can see, the screw there is just protruding inside the pipe itself. So what I'm going to do now is just wrap the wire around the outside, make it look as neat as possible. And I'm going to do that all the way up until I get to the next connection. Just get another one of these connectors, pop it on the end like I did on the last one, and then just keep going. That's literally all there is to it, until I get to my dust extractor, which I will then have to ground. Obviously all these will be connected. I'll ground to my machine, so they're all connected to each other. Dope. Uh-oh. We have a problem. Okay, so I've made it now to the corner, which is the most, not complicated, but the most junction points. So I'll show you what I've done. So I've gone, that could be taken off now, from down there all the way along, come to this point here, did a connection, jumped over to this coupling, and I'm going to have 3 coming off. So this one will go to that point and come around the corner, which I'll have 1, 2, and then this one then comes all the way down to this point, and from here I'll wrap around the tubing all the way down to that blast gate. this is what I've got so far. Obviously I can't connect my table saw because I need to get some more flexi hose for that, but I'll do it at a later date. We've gone all the way up into the top corner, down to my thickness planer, along the top, run it along the flexi all the way down to my dust extractor. So my hope is now that I'll have, obviously once I connect and go up, this will then ground it back to the unit itself, because the screw is obviously touching the casing, and then the screw is touching these connectors. So hopefully that will, if it doesn't, there's no problem, I can just come off one of these connections and put it to the body, like down here or wherever. I can choose somewhere else, but I think that'll be okay. If not, we can change it in the future. That's all the ducting, blast gates and everything complete, apart from the one blast gate that will be over on my dust extractor, like I said, and my table saw connection. I still haven't run anything from there because I'm going to do that at a later date when I get some more piping. I'll give you now a once over, show you all the piping and the connections. I'll turn the dust extractor on, my thicknesser, and I'll just give you a quick demo, and that'll be it for the video. If you're new to my channel, consider hitting the subscribe button to see more future videos like this one. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.